So, yeah, this is very confusing, learning about what this does. So, yeah. I absolutely love this. So, bit of context. I first started hearing about this series when, I know Dr. Mike did like a thing where he looked, and there was another person who also did a bit of like, oh, like how accurate, like, because this show had, I don't know how old it is, I'm not 100% sure, but it's a bit old, technically. And I like it. I like the idea of looking into, oh, here's how the cells work, here's all the stuff about the cells, here's how they function, and it's fun. The idea being like, ooh, what do they do? How does each cell work? I am not going to lie, a lot of it is very confusing. They give you so many scientific words about the show, about being like this, and this, and this. And it's very confusing. What I've heard from doctors, though, is like Dr. Mike, people like Dr. Mike who do it on YouTube, but are technically actual doctors, but also upload stuff on YouTube, is that this is accurate. And I do love it. I do find it really interesting that you get a sort of show that is, in one way, like, scientific in a sort of regards, right? Where you get that, like, here's the $10 sciencey words, here's the part where we pause and then we'll describe you how the diseases work, what the cells do, what certain things like that do. But you also get certain things like school, which clearly doesn't take part of the work. It's enough that it's like, you can take creative liberties, but you can be like, here's your, like, legitimately, if someone's like, by the way, I have a kid and you want them to describe the body, well, if you want a rough detail, this could sort of get you started to understand. Like, here's a white blood cell, this is what white blood cell does, here is this, here is that. Don't ask me to repeat any of the name, because why are they so complicated? Why are sciencey words complicated? It's annoying. But it's really interesting in that sort of idea and that sort of environment, sort of looking at the sort of like human body and figuring out like, oh, what does this do? What does this mean? Also on the other side, what are these diseases? What do these diseases do? That sort of thing is awesome. That's what I like. And to move on to the next section, because I have a couple of things to say definitely about the ending. The ending I like. So yeah. The one thing I like is that, which is hilarious, is because legitimately, I don't know how many white blood cells there are, but the fact that there's 7 pints of blood, and these two characters are, like, cells. I'm not a doctor, but I feel like there's a lot of cells in 7 pints of blood. And you're getting these two cells constantly meet up, being like, oh, it's you, oh, it's you. It's like, I know I was talking about earlier being like, oh, you can take creative liberties. I just find that funny. That's nothing to do with against the show. You do need to have that sort of like coincidence in a way, because the body is just about do this, do that, do the other. And some things I do like, because most of the time, the enemy, except like 2 times, most of the time the enemies are diseases who are evil, and etc, etc, etc. But the 2 times that, in a way, I think it was 2, was it 2? No, most of the enemies were sort of, actually no, 2 times that they weren't, which I want to talk about. One, which is pollen, and I like the idea that overall, the whole problem was the body was overreacting. And I felt so seen, being like, yes, this is what it feels like to have hay fever. It's like shit. It's not as bad as other things, but like I just love the hilarity of like I want you to do this. Everyone literally did what they were supposed to do, and still it didn't work out. It's funny and really interesting. It's like this is literally also I love. There's mast cells, which are known as fat cells, but aren't actual fat cells. Thanks, science, for naming two things, two completely different concepts of the same name. This is not me dissing the show, this is me dissing scientists. Why? Okay. The other thing that I like that they had, in a way, is in one regard, it is effed up. But one of the episodes deals with cancer and cancerous cells, which cancer is a huge thing and very much a problem. And in the real world, outside of the show, cancer. Yeah, but with this, it's so sort of sad and dark that you deal with like people being like, it wasn't our fault. It's like legitimately, if cells are human beings, because that's the point of cancer. It's like the cells mutate. It's like what people refer to. I think they call it a copying error, which I don't know if that's a thing. If you're a scientist and you see this video, talk to me what copying error is, because I heard copying error is like that's something sciencey or something else. I don't know. But I find it interesting that the whole point is like one person who got a bad hand and they actually treat it in that way of like sad. But it's also on one hand it's sad because like they didn't choose this life, they didn't wanted this, but this is how they turned out because of one reason or another, and it's effed up. But on the other hand, they're cancer cells, and cancer. Why is this so? Why are you making me emotional to cancer? Also, yes, I'm doing this because I started it. I'm gonna carry on. So it. I don't know. I don't have a button. I go beep. So I just go it. Anyway, I do kind of, but anyway. The other thing which I like is the ending, which is basically I think it's a two-part. But the one more important thing is. The whole thing, the whole story, is sort of is when someone's having like blood loss and hemorrhagic shock. I think I pronounced that right, most certainly I haven't. But I love the idea that when they're having a transfusion, which I'm pretty sure I said right, the blood cells actually have like a different outfit, and it's really interesting. They get like. The other ones have like these collars, but the collars are more like normal collars. But these have these sort of like winter stuff, whereas like, do you know when you get some winter clothes and you get like the thing around your neck and it's sort of like, they have it, one's like this and then it's next to each other, like whoosh, 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 around the neck. I like the idea that like, I don't know how accurate it is if like, because I know it, if your system gets back into gear, probably like through the amount of like how long a cell lasts. Also, I'd love to know technically how long the series realistically happens, because like certain things like with blood loss, how quickly that happens. The last 2 episodes probably would be in like seconds in realistic time if you zoomed out to the human and having all of that happen. How quickly those episodes would be a fun idea. Not like I would care, but like something that I would be like, ooh, how quick is it? What is the speed? Because that's fun. And overall, it is a fun series, it is entertaining, and it is absolutely mad. So I 100%, yeah, but I'll get to that in a quick second. So yeah. Like I said, it's really good, it's really entertaining, and it's really worth watching. And I know someone talks about like how these are just rambles. Fair, valid, I like just talking about stuff, and if I see anything in the comments of my current live stream, I'll bring those up. But I do just like this series. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you like, comment, and what's your opinion on the series? And most importantly, good night.